Dunton Locks Pottery is located 2 miles south of Detroit Lakes, off Highway 59 by Dunton Locks Park. Open daily, 11 to 4.
For a closer look at Phil Holton's wood turning, call 346-3860.
The Glass Lady Studio is located in Lake Park, Minnesota at 403 Lake Street. If you'd like more information on classes or custom work, you can give us a call at 218-234-8844. This afternoon, we're here at the Glass Lady Studio. We're going to talk about stained glass. Most of us are aware of stained glass windows by going to church. We see the big, magnificent windows hanging in so many of our churches around the area. But stained glass really spans from everything from a small sun catcher, such as this flag, to a little bit larger sun catcher, such as this moon, all the way up to larger windows that maybe are a panel that hangs in your home. I have a polar bear piece that I have done that kind of features our Aurora Borealis lights along with a polar bear. Tulips, flowers, any type of flower is always really, really popular for area homeowners. The hummingbird piece, that one is a little bit unique in the regards that it does not have the framing that goes across the top. It's open on the top, and so it has a little bit more of a free feeling. And that homeowner, I ended up actually doing a second piece to go in another window. So stained glass in the home oftentimes is just a framed panel that you make to hang in a window. Or occasionally I'll get the order for a window that's a complete insert. One of the advances that we've made as the years have gone by is the church windows oftentimes, way back when, were put in as the only window. And those just, of course you've seen them, they sag, they droop, they don't have the R factor, they're cold. So modern day stained glass windows, if you have a window that is going to be in your home and you want it covered the whole thing, you actually put it as an insert in your window. You have the regular tempered or window that you would have just installed by a regular contractor, and then you make the insert. So I'm going to do a little demonstration for you on how we get started in stained glass. If you were to come in for a class, you would start out with just a regular piece of clear glass, and we draw on it with just a regular Sharpie marker. And the trick with the cutters, these are actually carbide wheels. They don't cut you, and then they actually don't cut the glass. They score the glass. So you just start on one end, make your cutter at a 90-degree angle to your surface, and you go all the way off to the other end. So that's the cutter. Another tool that we have is called a running plier, and that matches up on your line, and you just squeeze, and it breaks your glass. You would then progress to actually maybe doing a little bit of a curved line. I've been told, I don't have the strength for that. I can't do that. It's really not, you're not using the strength from your arm, really. You're kind of throwing your shoulder into it and a little bit of the weight from your back. So it's not as you don't have to be as strong as you think you do. After we do a few lines and you're feeling comfortable with that, we would actually move on to a shape. And cutting a glass shape is not like taking a scissors and cutting paper. You can't just kind of score all the way around it. You have to kind of whittle away at it, if you will. So you would, in this case, it's kind of a leaf shape, so you could do it in two pieces. You'd start and go all the way off and around on one side, and then score that. And then you would do the other side and score it. Just like that. The third tool that I haven't shown you that is involved in cutting glass is a breaker grozier. And this is really more for tiny little pieces. You can see it has a curved side that kind of nips or chews the glass away, and it has a straight side. If I needed to cut the tip on this to make it flat because my pattern called for it, I would score it, and then I would take that flat side and you just snap it, just like that. After you're comfortable with that, you would move into tracing a pattern. And here I'm just going to cut out one piece of this sun pattern, and we'll kind of take you through a few different steps with it. So you take your Sharpie marker, you trace. Obviously, we would normally probably have a colored piece of glass, but for demonstration, I've used clear. The first step you want to do is you want to trace it, and then you kind of want to break that away from the rest of your glass, because if something happens and you break your glass and it all goes a great big line, you want to minimize that. You want to minimize losing all of your glass basically with a cut that's gone wrong. So you would break it away, and then I would start by cutting those different pieces. You may have noticed that I used my hands. As you get more advanced and more comfortable, you can, if it's a glass that breaks real easy, you can just snap it with your hands. So you would cut that away. The goal is to try to cut on the inside of this black Sharpie marker line. You've grown your piece by the width of that line when you've traced it. So you want to try to cut on the inside of the line and break that away. And then you would just kind of do a quick check on your pattern and see how it fits. And then we would move to the grinder. Grinding glass serves two purposes. It allows you to manipulate your pattern if you've had a bad cut. If you happen to cut where you had a lot of this black showing, you can really grind it down so you can fit your pieces together a little bit easier. It also allows, I'm going to be showing you the copper foil method where we will wrap this in a piece of copper foil. It allows that copper to stick a little bit better. This grinder will not hurt you. It's a diamond bit, but it doesn't hurt the skin, but it just does grind the glass. So you just push your glass into it and move it around. And you can see the areas where I have more black, I'm pushing a little bit harder, and then I lighten up. And you go all the way around your glass piece. And as I dry this, you'll be able to see, hopefully, that grinding kind of dulls that edge. You've gone from a nice shiny edge to where it's dull, and now it's not, it won't cut you. In the copper foil method of stained glass, you then, as I indicated before, you would wrap it with a thin tape, a thin copper tape. I've already started this piece to save on time, and so you're just going around centering your glass piece on this copper foil, and essentially going all the way around the edges. The next step is you will take this and smooth it all down. And the final step is burnishing. I'm going to go quick here just to give you a little bit of a quick example. And again, my handy dandy Sharpie marker, multi-purpose tool here. You can go around the edges first, and you're burnishing all the lines and creases out of it, and then you want to do the tops. And this is actually a really, really important step. If you don't have your piece foiled properly and securely, once you go to the soldering stage, if the flux, which is what you use to adhere solder to the copper, gets under this copper foil, it will peel away and it really weakens your piece. Now you can see I, right here in the corner, don't have that even. So if I were going to go back and solder this piece, I would want to refoil that area. You would then start laying out your pattern, and you would do all those pieces and get it ready to solder. The final step in putting together a stained glass, whether it's a sun catcher or a large window, would be soldering. And solder, you use a flux, which is it's basically a liquid acid that you put on your piece. This one has already been tacked together and tack soldered, so it's already holding all together. The final step is you do your puff solder, where you take your iron, you put it right down into that seam, and your solder, and you just move nice and slow. All the way down. And you can go back and fix your seams if they get a little wavy or if you're not quite happy, but you would do this to the whole piece, both sides, and then we would put a zinc framing around it to complete it. You can see, hopefully, oh, I can't pick it up. The tack solder side is real flat. The soldering is really flat. It's when you get this nice little beaded puff that is the desired effect that you're going for, to really strengthen your piece and to make sure that it'll last for years to come. If you're interested in taking a stained glass class or learning more about getting a piece made for your home or business, you can call the Glass Lady Studio at 218-234-8844. The Glass Lady Studio is located in Lake Park, Minnesota at 403 Lake Street. If you'd like more information on classes or custom work, you can give us a call at 218-234-8844.